Michael Sherwin is the federal prosecutor who's been overseeing the Justice Department's investigation into the riots that took place in the Capitol on January 6th. Now, recently he sat down to talk about some of the evidence that he's seen and what's likely to happen in regard to charges. He also teased something regarding Donald Trump that I found infuriating because the media ran with it. But before we get to that, what are some of the charges that the rioters might face? He talks about that in this clip. Take a look.
2 days after Michael Sherwin stepped down from supervising the investigation into the riots, he said in an interview aired Sunday night on 60 Minutes that prosecutors are getting closer to filing just such a charge.
I personally believe the evidence is trending towards that and probably meets those elements.
The former interim US attorney in Washington, Sherwin says he was in the crowd on January 6th.
You could see it was getting more riled up. Where it was initially pro-Trump, it digressed to anti-government, anti-Congress, anti-institutional. When I saw people climbing up the scaffolding, hanging from it, hanging flags, I was like, this is going bad fast.
Now, what he's saying there is that it's likely, based on the evidence that they've already accumulated, that some of these anti-government rioters would be facing sedition charges. That doesn't surprise me. I think that that's likely to happen. Keep in mind that 400 people have now been charged for their involvement in the riots that day. But then he moves on to the issue of Donald Trump possibly facing some criminal charges. And I want to read what he says slowly and carefully so you guys can really understand what he's saying here, okay? And why the way the media has covered it has been ridiculous. He says, it's unequivocal that Trump was the magnet that brought the people to DC on the 6th. Remember, he did that rally prior to the riot breaking out. But then he says this, we have plenty of people. We have soccer moms from Ohio that were arrested saying, quote, well, I did this because my president said I had to take back our house. That moves the needle towards that direction. Maybe the president is culpable for those actions. And then the media pretends like the rest of the statement was never made, but it was. He also says, but also you see in the public record too, militia members saying, quote, you know what? We did this because Trump just talks a big game. He's just all talk. We did what he wouldn't do. Look, my point is, it doesn't matter what CNN has to say, it doesn't matter what the New York Times has to say, it doesn't matter what anyone has to say. Let's just be clear right now so we don't continue having this ridiculous conversation. Trump will not ever face criminal charges for what happened in the Capitol, okay? That's it, end of story, end of discussion. I know that the media is looking to like, let's milk the Trump story as much as we can. Milk. The DOJ will do nothing. Donald Trump will not face any criminal charges. The idiots who follow Donald Trump's demands, they will face criminal charges, some of whom are gonna be charged with sedition. But Trump himself, free to go. Doesn't matter what he said, doesn't matter what the public record indicates. Free to go, period. Anyway, Cenk.
Well, I'll go a little further. I actually think Trump should not be charged with sedition. Okay, we've got a poll up on YouTube on that. You go to our channel and then you hit community and you'll be able to vote on that poll. But let me make my case. So first off, I wanna clarify the different charges that people could face. As Anna told you, over 400 people have been charged already. The lowest charge is trespassing. It's not that big a deal. That's a slap on the wrist in effect. A serious charge is conspiracy. And people could get up to 5 years for that. And a little over 10% of the rioters have been charged with conspiracy already. And they have good evidence from the 3%ers, the Oath Keepers, and some of the Proud Boys that they actually did plan to do this. And so that's a significant charge. But even so, max of 5 years when they're chanting, hang the vice president as they walk in, and they're looking to find Nancy Pelosi, and God knows what they would have done to her or AOC, et cetera. It still seems low. Sedition, no one's been charged yet. Will some of the rioters who are charged with conspiracy also be charged with sedition? Probably. Should the president? Well, let's read you what Pelley read Sherwin. And this is a statute on sedition. Sedition is interpreted in a lot of different ways, but here's a quote. Sedition occurs when anyone opposes by force the authority of the United States or by force hinders or delays the execution of any law of the United States. First of all, on the second half of that, I don't think anyone should ever be charged with that. When you say it hinders or delays the execution of a law, oh boy, cops could use that to cast a very wide net on a lot of political activity. Well, I mean, we had a law and you caused us a 5-minute delay in executing it through your protest. You're seditious. I don't want any piece of that. That's garbage, and I don't think anybody should be charged with that, no matter where they are on the political spectrum. In terms of using force against the United States government, that's the core of sedition. Well, certainly a lot of those rioters appear to have met that threshold as you're breaking down the door of the Capitol, chanting about executing political opponents and walking into the building looking to find those political opponents. In terms of Trump, he did not break into the Capitol. Did he encourage them? Of course he did. But if you like, so I'm not having a silly conversation about, Trump, golly gee, what would he know about any of this? No, he lied to them over and over and over again about how the election was stolen. And he got them to believe ridiculous things. Did he spearhead that? Oh, yes, of course he did. But he just spoke. And you could break the law by speaking, but it has to be a much higher standard. Go break into that building and go hang Mike Pence. Yes, then you got to charge a sedition based on speech. But him saying fight like hell and walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, no, because if that's your standard on sedition, then oh boy, I hate to see who they would apply that to next. Again, anywhere in the political spectrum. So that's the community tab we're showing you there. It's really easy. Click on the Young Turks anywhere on YouTube, then go to the community tab and vote there. I'm curious what you guys think, because I imagine like a lot of you, or like us, a lot of you hate Trump and think he caused this. But I'm curious where you think he should actually legally be charged with sedition. Super last thing, Anna, is that he did commit a political crime, which is to encourage people to rebel against the actual laws of the United States of America. That's why I would have impeached him, but I would not have charged him legally with a crime. And there's a huge and important difference there.
Yeah, so I want to give you credit for actually thinking ahead and thinking about what the negative consequences could be in charging him and prosecuting him with sedition. I didn't even get that far in my thought process. And the reason why is because even if what he did was easy to prove as seditious, it doesn't even matter. I know I'm speculating here, but what we've seen over and over again in this country is power protects power. He was the former president of the United States. We've had many former presidents of the United States who have broken actual laws, committed war crimes, and didn't have to deal with any prosecution, didn't have to deal with the consequences of their actions. At least based on historical trends, no sitting president ever has to worry about suffering the consequences of the crimes he commits as soon as he's out of office. It's never gonna happen. And I get incredibly frustrated with the media pretending as though there's a possibility when we know without a shadow of a doubt that it's never gonna happen. That's just how our system is set up. The powerful protect the powerful. The only person who's kind of broken that trend is Trump himself, who shows no loyalty to anyone. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
But he's not the one who gets to make the prosecutorial decisions here.
Yeah, Anna, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't do a poll on whether Trump's gonna be charged. He ain't gonna be charged. Even if you think he's gonna be charged, you'd be wrong. There's no way that Democrats or current DOJ would have the guts to charge Trump, even if they should. And as we're telling you in the poll, we think it's a borderline case to begin with. So there ain't no way in the world they're gonna do that. I would fall out of my chair if they did. But I am still curious whether you guys think that what he did was actually seditious or not.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.